You guys, Kayla Malik has finally broken her silence. After weeks of speculation and rumors, she's finally posted a video responding to the whole situation with James Charles and his connection to her ex, Evan Johnson. Let's get into this because it's a lot. If you've been following along, you'll remember Kayla released a two-part YouTube series back in April called He Doesn't Love You. In it, she revealed the deeply painful and disturbing behavior she endured during her relationship with Evan. Not long after, Evan was arrested in Tennessee, and on May 7th, he pleaded guilty, receiving an 18-month prison sentence. So where does James Charles fit into all of this? Well, shortly after Kayla posted her expose, one of Evan's old friends, Zach Sellers, stepped into the conversation. He claimed he'd cut ties with Evan after seeing Kayla's video, but then he dropped a bomb. Zach accused James Charles of pretending to be Kayla's close friend, while secretly getting involved with Evan behind her back. Not only that, he said James even gave Evan a place to stay and offered him advice throughout the whole mess. James stayed silent. Weeks passed. Questions piled up. Was James really helping Evan? Why didn't he speak up about what Kayla shared? And if he and Kayla were really close, why was he interacting with her ex like that? It wasn't looking good, especially after Zach claimed Evan was straight, bringing up old controversies surrounding James and reigniting public criticism. But then the drama took another turn. Zach himself got exposed, allegedly for doing the exact same things he accused James of. And just like that, he vanished. Then came the twist. The day Evan was sentenced in court, literally 1 hour after Kayla shared the news, James Charles posted a video responding to everything. In it, James denied ever being close with Kayla. He said they weren't best friends, and he swore he and Evan were never romantically involved. According to James, he was simply helping a friend through a rough patch. But something felt off, because even he admitted that when Evan stayed with him in LA, things didn't feel right. He also confessed to lying to Kayla when she asked if Evan was staying with him. Oh, and James said he plans to sue Zach. Now, Kayla is finally speaking on just James' part in this. She said it was upsetting that her hard-earned court victory was immediately overshadowed by James's video, that she didn't even get a moment to breathe or celebrate before the comments started rolling in. Did you see what James posted? In her TikToks, Kayla broke down how James and Evan even crossed paths. It all began when she started posting Evan on her Instagram stories. James would reply with messages like, "He's literally so hot, girl. OMG, good for you." And "God, he's so beautiful, OMFG." Kayla clarified, she and James were never besties, just acquaintances. Most of their interactions were him thirsting over her boyfriend. At one point, they both ended up at the same birthday party. That's where Kayla introduced James to Evan. They wandered off and had a private conversation. Later, Evan told her James spent the entire time telling him how hot he was. Fast forward to January. Evan showed their friend group some DMs he had with James. One video even shows James replying after Evan suggested they go to Hawaii together. James wrote back, "Why should I come?" Not long after, Kayla and Evan broke up. And right after that, James reached out, inviting her and Evan to be in a Valentine's Day campaign for his painted brand. Kayla told him they just split. She even showed him the very messages James would later use in his video. She said she wanted to make a 30-part Who the F Did I Marry series on Evan. James's response? "Can I have him now?" Kayla fired back with something like, "Imagine the worst thing someone could do to you. It would take hours to explain. But you'll see the series soon." She also thanked him for the painted love opportunity. At that time, she and Evan were still in some contact. But during one conversation, Evan told her he already knew about the series. Kayla was stunned. The only person she'd told was James. She later found out James allegedly screenshot her messages and sent them to Evan as a heads up. Apparently, James messaged Evan right after their text exchange, and that's when their friendship really began. Kayla also said that when Evan visited James in LA, she asked James directly, "Is Evan with you?" And he lied. Her question is simple. If you weren't doing anything wrong, why lie? She also pointed out that after she dropped her video about Evan, James didn't say a word. No check-in. No apology. Nothing. But the second James was exposed, he suddenly messaged her, apologizing. In fact, in the time between her video and the moment James got caught, she'd even texted him. All business. No mention of Evan.
Apparently, from what I was told, is that right after sending those text messages telling James that we broke up, James went and DM'd him on Instagram, sent him those text messages to warn him, and then they started to create a friendship.
But once the video outing James dropped, his phone blew up with messages to her. It was Coachella weekend. James asked if she was at the festival and said they needed to talk. He told her, I felt guilty for weeks and didn't know how to tell you.
Lie. And about a month after all of this, I still have not spoken out publicly. The only thing I've done is go on live and say that I was in an abusive relationship. I was not ready to talk about the details of it. Still healing, okay? But I'm scrolling on Snapchat and I see that Evan had posted a Snapchat in the exact area that James lives, in a backyard that looked identical to James's backyard. And immediately I was like, there's no way. Because this was about a month after I had been told that they were DMing. Why are y'all DMing for a month? So I text James, me telling him that we broke up, okay? I text him on March 1st saying, this is so random, hope you're doing good. Are you with Evan? He says, what? Your ex Evan? Doesn't say yes, doesn't say no. I said, yes, posted a picture, looked like your backyard. He goes, why would Evan be in my backyard? Later to find out that he was in his backyard and that James had flown him out to California. Knew you weren't doing anything wrong. Why didn't you just straight up answer my question and say, yeah, he's here, we're friends? Like, you know? And in James's video, he was saying that, oh, well, he seemed depressed and sad and like he needed a friend. I have a lot to say about that, but first thing, if you're just being there for a friend and that you think he's a good person, why do you feel the need to have to lie to me about it?
I owe you the truth. I'm going to explain everything from my side, not Zach's. Then you can feel however you want. To her, that was ironic. You feel guilty only after the truth comes out? He claimed Evan manipulated him too. But Kayla wasn't buying it. She said, how did it even get to the point where he could manipulate you? I told you we broke up the same day it happened. And that same day, you texted him. She reminded him the only reason he even met Evan was because Evan was her boyfriend. Kayla says she doesn't believe James would have ever come clean if he hadn't been exposed. That the guilt and the apology only came after the truth became public. And honestly, there's proof of that. Because James kept everything secret until he had no choice. He insists he and Evan were just friends. But people can't help noticing the red flags. Constantly calling Evan hot, joking, can I have him now? Flying him out to LA just for friendship? Kayla doesn't buy it either. She says it's suspicious to build a whole new friendship off pure attraction. What could they have possibly had in common other than James thinking Evan was hot? The whole thing feels shady. So that's what Kayla had to say. And honestly, it paints a very different picture of what really went down. Let me know your thoughts on all of this chaos. Thanks for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.